Roger, any innovative strategies that you've used for your clients, or is it a matter of keep it simple?
Well, I'm going to say something that may sound a little weird, but I think one of the biggest problems with retirement planning is that it's financial people coming up with things to solve for income. It's not a financial issue in terms of an investment product solution, which is how we always tend to approach it. And when we talk investment products, whether it's an annuity or real estate or something else, that's really optimization. And there's a lot of things that we got to get to before optimization. So the way that we organize it with clients is we're more project managers than investment managers. And you want to think of this in pillars. So the first pillar is, what do I want, right? That's your vision for your life. That, your values, which bleed down into your goals, which bleed down into cash flows. And then, is it feasible on the long trajectory of your retirement, given the social capital, whether you have Social Security or pensions, the human capital, whether you have rental income or you're working part-time, and your financial capital? You have to do the work to know whether this is feasible from a long-term sustainability standpoint. Then you got to get down to, is it resilient? Because it doesn't matter whether it's feasible for Roger to sail across the ocean. If Roger isn't prepared, he could, have a storm come and just wipe him out in the first day. Then you have to get to, how do I make it resilient? And the way that we approach resilience, our baseline is that you need to have 5 years of expected outflows from your financial assets de-risked. Because the two big risks you have in retirement are, number one, sequence of return of those bad markets up front. And then on the other end of the spectrum is inflation long-term. And so by having that 5-year income floor, it gives you a lot more flexibility and agency, not just simply to weather markets, but to weather bad assumptions and the change in life and everything else. After all of that basic work is done, then you can get down to the optimization of what investment strategy do I use for all these individual buckets. But I think this is much more of a project management and decision-making exercise than it is an investment issue. And sometimes that can get lost because we're all investment people and we love to talk about all the geeky investment stuff.
That's a great point. What if you don't have 5 years worth of assets that you can de-risk? There are those who are they're more borderline. They're able to.
Oh, that's a great point. So what do you do? Well, at that stage, you're going to get to where their plan is probably not feasible from a long-term trajectory standpoint, right? So if they don't have enough assets to support the goals, those base great life is what I call the needs, and then the discretionary spending, then the negotiation has to happen to get to a feasible plan of record, right? And you're going to have to look at what options do you have if you are very constrained or underfunded. And bluntly, it may be that you have to sacrifice goals, or you have to work longer, or you have to settle for less. You have to work through that at an individual basis to figure it out. It's not like there's going to be any wonderful solutions if you're underfunded. And from a tactical perspective, just to hit towards Colleen's point, usually it's the people that are most constrained or underfunded. From a prudence perspective, they are the ones that probably should be looking at guaranteed income sources more than most, because what seems counterintuitive because, well, I need more risk so I can get the returns, but that's like going to the poker table and trying to make up for losses. The downside, the impact of a downside return is asymmetric compared to getting those returns. So really, those are the ones that should be looking at more secure sources. I mean, it's difficult.
Yeah, it's a delicate balance. Don't bet it all on black.